This is a special report from 2 News. The Yankees are world champs.
Good evening. Sorry to interrupt Walker, but this is the kind of news we love to bring you. It's what Yankee fans have been waiting for since 1978. The New York Yankees are World Series champions once again.
Good evening. I'm Lou Young with Dana Tyler. Welcome to the most extensive coverage of the Yankee World Series victory you'll see anywhere tonight.
Usually people celebrate the end of war and New Year's here in Times Square, but it's been a long time, and they are celebrating the New York Yankees just having won the World Series.
It's a family affair here. This is the Joe Torre neighborhood. It's Joe Torre Little League.
There you have it. It's in Hicksville, Long Island, and I can tell you, I heard firsthand how the suburbs can outscream the city when it comes to the New York Yankees.
Hi. Talk to me. Calm. Take it easy.
We are in the All-Star Cafe. We came here thinking that this place would be loaded with tourists and nobody from New York. It's 98% tri-state area, and one lady from North Carolina who now she's got her jersey, and so now you love the Yankees.
I'm a converted Yankee fan. This is awesome. I love New York.
Oh, come on, guys. We're obviously trying to do some nice things here. Some of the guys are a little rowdy, not a big problem, though. I think some of the fans are still inside the stadium trying to savor the moment. But as you can tell, a whole lot of people out here very happy. How happy are you?
I'm real happy. I feel my voice gone. My voice is gone, but I'm still there with the Yankees.
Is this a fitting way to end it the way they did it?
That's right. Today was the final day. 3 games at home and 1 here. This is the best way to celebrate
#1,
here in
baby.
New York.
The city of New York is throwing a huge Yankees ticker tape parade on Tuesday, 11 a.m.
So much satisfaction. I can't tell you what it means to me to have this club work hard all year long and have it end like this at home. You know, we won the other 2 series on the road, but to win it at home is so sweet. I can't tell you what the emotions are. They're just running all into each other, and I can't tell you how happy I am. I've never been this happy in my life.
Good morning on a glorious October Tuesday. You're looking at a live picture of Broadway, Lower Manhattan. For just in a half hour, the world champion New York Yankees will have their victory parade down the Canyon of Heroes for a celebration nobody will forget.
There's got to be more than 1 million people down there now lining the 10-block parade route between City Hall and Battery Park. People who just want to enjoy the excitement, gathering on the streets all up and down Broadway to show their support to the Bronx Bombers, who have brought home the series crown for the first time since 1978. And our Channel 2 reporters are all over the parade route to bring you the best step-by-step, float-by-float, player-by-player coverage of the Parade of Champions. Good morning. I'm Lou Young.
And I'm Dana Tyler. Thanks so much for being here. What a perfect day. This weather is fantastic. And we are joined today by Jim Bouton, a former Yankee pitcher you'll also know from sportscasting on Channel 2 and Channel 7. This is not a perfect day, a perfect ending to the season.
It's great. You know, I'm lucky to be here. I had to fight my way through that mob of people, you know, packed, jammed up, and then past the barricades, then the moat, then the alligator pit.
All of that. Let's go down to Storm Field, and he's at Broadway, and the beginning of the parade. Storm?
All right, thanks very much, Dana. We're here across from the Trinity Church here at Wall Street in Broadway, what we're referring to as Ground Zero right now. It's where the parade's going to be coming up. Can't believe how narrow this is here. My line won't actually take me across the street. As you can see, folks from Long Island, they actually came in here around 3 o'clock this morning and lined up. So they've been here ever since then, getting things ready. And back over here, this is my posse. These are folks from all the boroughs of Manhattan who have now become closest of friends, all because they've been right here all morning. Now, how about you guys? How long have you been here? Stand up here a little bit. Let me just, you can barely get up. They've been sleeping here the whole time. Come on up here. What's your name? Danielle, where are you from?
Staten Island.
Staten Island? How long have you been here?
Well, I've been here since 7 o'clock this morning.
What time did you get up this morning to get down here?
5.
5, and you got a huge bag of confetti here. You all set to do some throwing? Yeah, okay. Well, you know, she's just one of dozens of people. I have to talk to this guy. Now, you got to understand that he's been the cheerleader here in this group all morning.
Yeah, baby.
What's your name?
Roger.
Roger, how long you been here?
I've been here since 7:30.
7:30 this morning. Where are you from?
I'm from Long Island, Bayshore.
So how long did it take you to get in here?
It only took an hour. We took the subway. I mean, the railroad. So.
And you're in here taking care of things?
Oh, sure. Gotta.
Big Yankee fan?
A die-hard Yankee fan since I came out of my mother's stomach, baby. Yankees are the best. #1.
Well, now that's the kind of thing that's being echoed up and down this line. And we are talking about, I've covered a lot of these parades. I've never seen enthusiastic numbers like this before. Let me just show you how enthusiastic. Take a look over this building if you can, Charlie. You see the gentleman walking the parapet up there? There's a bunch of guys who have walked out of their windows and are walking around on the ledge because it's the best seat in the house that they can get. It is amazing. It scares me just to look at them. But people are going everywhere and anywhere they can just to get a view of the street here and for the parade to start in just about 6 minutes or so. I can tell you, once it gets started, there's going to be a lot of noise here. So when you throw back to us, make sure you talk very loudly.
Welcome to the 1996 Rally of Champions! Celebrating the World Series champions, the New York Yankees!
There's a trophy. There's a team right now through the Canyon of Heroes. The mayor looking so happy. So happy.
There the parade begins, and we just saw Joe Torre and the first float. There's Joe DiMaggio, and Governor George Pataki riding there. Now there is a Yankee great. Would we have seen Joe DiMaggio, Jim, on the back of that horse like Wade Boggs? What a contrast in Yankee eras, huh?
Today's players understand that baseball has really become show business. We were just ball players. Today, the players are like rock stars. They're celebrities. They're like national heroes, and they sort of play to that role. Guys who hit a home run, they'd come to the dugout, tip their cap modestly, and go into the dugout. Today, they come out for curtain calls. They're bowing.
Where's the commercial contract?
A guy hits a long foul ball. He does pirouettes at home plate, and Wade Boggs jumping on the back of a horse. Can you imagine Joe DiMaggio jumping on the back of a horse after a game? Forget it.
Look at the ticker tape fall. The crowd, people have been here for hours, 10, 20, 30 people deep. And what a thrill this is. And also, Jim, what a thrill it is for the team to see the fans. And it always has not been a loving relationship through the year for everyone.
Well, everybody loves everybody now. The fans love the players love the fans, but it wasn't too long ago when the Yankee fans were booing poor Graham Lloyd unmercifully, the Australian relief pitcher, the big left-hander. He must have thought, what kind of a welcome is this to New York City?
There is the jersey. That's that huge jersey that has been autographed. The huge New York Yankees jersey, and it will be auctioned, and the money raised, I believe, is that it? It's hard to tell from our TV screen here, but there's a huge jersey, and the money raised will go to the school that Joe Torre's sister is the principal of, the Nativity of the Blessed Virgin in Ozone Park. It's beautiful.
A lot of signatures on that.
A lot of signatures, and the confetti is flying. The confetti is flying as the parade moves down. There are 7 floats, but a lot of cars, Cooper Classic cars from the 60s, and carrying team members and dignitaries along.
You know, the last authentic parade was in 1960.
The Rockettes.
Last time any real ticker tape fell on a parade was 1991 for the Gulf War heroes. They found some of the old stuff in warehouses and sold it to the parade, and they threw it out the windows. Now it's all computer paper and cut up pieces of scrap. It is underway now in full swing. Look at the scene here. You can feel the energy crackling and a blizzard of paper raining down on the reigning world champion New York Yankees. They have got to be 50 deep on either side of Broadway. This is an amazing crowd. The mayor said this would be the biggest ever. He may very well end up being right. We'll get a crowd estimate at the end of this thing and hopefully figure out where this figures into the history of ticker tape parades.
The Gulf War parade was about 4 million, 1991. I think they had about 4 million people for that. The big parade, General Douglas MacArthur, 1951, they had about 7 million then.
You know, it's a funny thing. We were going through some tape yesterday, looking at pictures of old parades, and we found the 1955 Brooklyn Dodgers parade, and we were shocked to see no ticker tape. You know, they held it in Brooklyn. They didn't have it.
Can you imagine a rookie like Derek Jeter? This is going to be the highlight of his career, his entire baseball career. So early, and he'll never be able to match this again.
Let's go to Jennifer McLogan now, right along the parade route. Jennifer.
Oh my gosh, this is so thrilling. There's the mayor. There's John Zimmer. They're all passing by us right now. Judge. Go Yankees! This is incredible. This is the most exciting thing I've ever been through. These people are going nuts. Lou and Dana.
Thanks, Jennifer. We're so glad you're enjoying it like everybody else. You saw on the side of that float there, it said Chase Bank. And the mayor is hoping that a lot of corporate sponsors will help pick up the tab for this parade, as they have in the past.
Yeah, that's the moment.
About $1 million. Look at that picture.
You know, if you were down here, you would have a moment like Jennifer just had as they went past, but watching it live on TV, this nonstop coverage here on Channel 2.
Storm Field, are you there?
Oh, we're right here. We almost can't hear anything in the noise here. Going down the street, Charlie's shooting down there. He can't hear me either, but I think we're looking at the Yankee pitchers and the bullpen, the catchers coming down on the second float. And
I see David Cohn.
okay, there's David Cohn right up in front on the right. Jim Lovett. We have Jennifer McLogan's with me. We got to move out of the way because the float is bigger than we are.
Now, is that Larry's with the cowboy hat?
The catchers, the pitchers, the starting pitchers, and the bullpen pitchers. They're all in here.
These guys are kings. They feel like royalty.
I see Penny.
You know, they're on this float. The whole world is looking at them.
There's Dwight Gooden.
Hey, Jennifer and Dwight just got together.
A
moment. We're worried about Dwight getting running over it. Dana, Lou. I'm going to keep an eye on her a little bit closer, I think. Okay, Lou, Dana, back to you.
All right, thanks, Stuart. There's one of the bands here. I want an honor from the bands who are here. We still haven't seen the steel drum band. That could be them at the end of one of those marching bands there. But what an honor, an unforgettable experience for the young people who are part of this day in history in New York City.
Some of them got the call last minute and had to learn the songs practically overnight to take part in this parade.
I'm a little concerned about the young people that are here. You know, on New Year's Eve, it's all adults, so they know what they're up against, and they can handle themselves in a big crowd. But little kids can get crushed, and there are a lot of little kids packed into there. I mean, when I tried to get here, I had to work my way through masses of bodies. Nobody could move. Little kids were sort of jammed in there. I was frightened for them.
There's another vantage point, and you talk about safety. A lot of people are up very, very high. It looks almost like a garden veranda there, and people looking over rooftops. Some we even saw on a ledge. It looked like they had no protection whatsoever, but everybody wants to be part of this during this mile-long parade. And the Macarena.
And of course, everybody's got their bags of confetti and shredded paper to throw down as the procession passes below.
There are about 70 vehicles in this parade, including an antique fire truck, 2 double-decker buses, and lots of antique cars. Dave Sims is again at the beginning of the parade route and letting us know who's next. There's Bernie Williams there, who's really been a hero for the Yankees.
He became Bernie Williams really became the leader of this team in many ways. A lot like Mickey Mantle, quiet, not a big rah-rah guy in the clubhouse, leading by example, handling the pressure,
rich people. YMCA. And the bands have practiced for that too. Talk a little bit more about
What qualifies people to get into the parade? Do they have to submit an application? Here's our group. We'd like to be in the parade.
That is part of the whole phenomenon. You know, I mean, the YMCA, of course, because the groundskeepers did their little thing during the games. Every Yankee fan knows that. They're in. Dave, are you standing by down at Battery Park? Dave Sims.
How about the vendors?
We're down here at Battery Park, and baseball is becoming an international phenomenon, no question about it. And some gentlemen are here from Italy. And, sir, give me your name.
Tony Barone.
And where are you from?
I'm from Staten Island, but originally from Italy, Procida, province of Naples.
So for these young men, baseball, they've adopted baseball now? They've become big baseball fans?
They play baseball in Italy. Ever since World War II, when the GIs brought baseball to Italy, these guys are from a town called Anzio.
I know it well. My father was there.
Famous beachhead, exactly. And they play professional baseball there in Anzio.
That's great. Can you ask them, what do they think about this whole experience?
Voglio sapere questa esperienza com'è.
Questa è incredibile, è una cosa stupenda, io non ho mai visto. Io ancora penso che è un sogno. Io sono venuto in New York per vedere questo, perché pensavo che era una cosa incredibile.
What do you say?
Well, I say, number one, it's incredible. It's like a dream come true. He came to New York to see the World Series, and it's like a dream come true.
And get to see the Yankees in a parade at the same time, right?
Both of them are named Alessandro.
All right, terrific. Guys, thanks a lot. Congratulations. Enjoy. That's our story down here at Battery Park. Back to Lou and Dana.
And came back with a great catch in Game 5. Betsy McCoy was a nice play.
Speaking of the young boy who made the great catch in the Orioles game against the Yankees. He's in school today. He decided not to be here, unlike a lot of other children who are playing hooky.
Of course, everybody was watching him. He had to go to school. I'll bet you a lot of other kids are here.
Every kid that's at this event is going to have to write a report at school for what this was like.
You know, the mayor said he was grateful he didn't have to make the decision. The school's chancellor said that the school would not be canceled today. And, of course, the big question is, where will Andrew Giuliani be when this celebration gets underway behind us? I suspect he will not be on the dais here.
Thanks.
Stormfield is standing by on the parade route. Storm.
All right, well, I got the Emerald Society marching by us right now. Talking about getting close up and personal. This street is so narrow that as the certain floats come down here, we have to keep on moving out of the way. There's probably about 5 steps between me and the other side of the street. As I move out here, you get an idea of what's going on. Right now, we've got another float coming down. I think it's the outfielders and the trainers. You can see that Yankee symbol down the street there. So they should be down here in about, 5 or 6 minutes or so. Lou, Dana?
Storm, how deep is it? Count back. How many people are you seeing when you look towards the sidewalk?
I can't even begin to guess that the number of people here. Actually, I expected a lot more paper to be falling on me than has so far. But the crowds here, there's no room between us. There's about 10 feet across here in the middle of the street where I'm standing right now. And on both sides of the street, the crowds go right back from the barriers all the way back to the walls. So you can see these folks here. These people have been shouting since 3 o'clock this morning when they got here. So the crowd is certainly enthusiastic. The enthusiasm hasn't died down yet. It probably won't for quite some time. Lou, Dana?
Thanks a lot, Storm. A lot of people, a lot of police officers, more people than police officers.
A lot more.
A lot more. Mayor Giuliani was hoping for $3 million. They'll take a little grid look afterwards and figure it out. There's some more of the players.
Turning the tables with their video cameras.
You know, why not? This is a memory they don't want to forget, Jim. There's Big Daddy, Cecil Fielder, another player who really, brought his experience, his maturity, came from Detroit, and really helped lead this team as well as get some great hits.
I think he was enjoying a nice cigar there, too, while he was...
all those years in Detroit. Sorry. All those years in Detroit, and now suddenly here he is in a tremendous celebration.
Dave Sims and Lower Manhattan. Dave, how are you?
Yeah, we're doing fine. We're down here with, I believe, the last group of Yankee players. It's the relief corps, and boy, did they do a fabulous job. There you see, let's see, that's Jeff Nelson right there that he's zooming in on. And also on the float, when he pants back, you'll see John Wetland, Mariano Rivera, Dave Pavlis, Graham Lloyd. You also see World Series MVP, the sign, John Wetland.
We've got the outfielders and the trainers here. Right in the back, you can see Paul O'Neill, Bernie Williams,
Darryl Strawberry.
and Jennifer here. She's probably going to try and run up and grab Darryl Strawberry. I'm going to have to keep an eye on her again. You see these guys, the trainers are down in front, and back behind them, you've got the outfielders. There's Darryl. He's in a gray, he's holding his baby.
Yeah, Darryl's up front, and Paul O'Neill's in the very back.
Okay, you've got Paul O'Neill right in the back left-hand corner as they come by.
This really is a family day.
Crowd chanting, Dare! Dare!
I really appreciate it.
There he is. He's holding his two children. He and his wife.
There's Bernie in the back there.
Look at Darryl Strawberry throwing kisses to the crowd. A man whose career was in the dumps and celebrating.
They've just gone by us. They're on their way. Lou, Dana.
Bernie Williams.
Thanks. Thanks, Storm and Jennifer. This is such a family day, Jim.
Yes, it is. It's baseball has become more of a family sport.
But, and I mean for the players.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the confetti continues to rain down here. You're watching live coverage on Channel 2 of the 1996 World Championship Yankees ticker tape parade.
Again, I say some empty classrooms, right?
At least a few. You know, there are going to be some fans honored in this thing, too, during the way. We're going to see Pee Wee Scheiden, Freddie the Fan Schumann, well known to anybody who goes to Yankee Stadium for the game regularly. Here's one of the marching bands coming along. What a well-behaved crowd. Everybody's very, very happy today.
We're just going to sit back and watch and listen and let you enjoy this parade of champion for the World Series winners, New York Yankees.
Yankees are the greatest baseball team in this city in baseball. That's it. We just got the best team in the world. Number one. Number one. MVP. 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 MVP.
I wonder if they have an umpire's float. They really ought to.
You know, I'm thumbing through here. I don't see it, Jim.
The umpire that made the call on Jeffrey Mayer's interference, the one that missed the third strike, called Andrew Jones out on the ball. It was a foot outside. The umpire that interfered with the fly ball in right field. And then in the last game, missing that steal at second base and then throwing Bobby Cox out of the game. There ought to at least be an umpire.
A lot of contributors to this season.
Bobby Cox made a big mistake. He touched the umpire. You can't do it. It was a bad call.
I didn't hear you.
The Bobby Cox, when he got thrown out, the call, that it was a bad call.
Yeah, well, you know, the managers never actually leave the field or the dugout like they're supposed to. They tied up in the runway, and somebody relays to them what's going on the field, and then they still make their decisions. But they're just not allowed to do it from the dugout. They do it from the runway or the bathroom right around the corner.
Jim, I've got to ask you, of course you played for the Yankees, 62 to 68, but you also played for the Braves. What was this like for you? I would imagine your heart is with the Yankees, since that's where you are with us today. But was it a tough?
Well, I would be afraid in this crowd to say that I was rooting for the Braves, so I won't.
Protect you, don't worry about it.
But I just was hoping for an exciting World Series, and it certainly was. I was glad to see baseball on display for the great game that it is. You got a chance to see all the strategy involved. The slowness of the game showed off its beauty. The chance to wonder what moves should be made next, and why are they doing this, and why are they doing that. And that's what baseball has that the other sports don't have. Baseball, football, and basketball have their own kind of excitement about them, but they don't really allow the fan a chance to get involved in the strategy and to ponder and contemplate each move as it's being made.
It really was an elegant World Series, strategy-wise, I thought. The thing that caught me was that you saw some of these pitchers, especially the relief guys, several days in a row pitching. And that's not usual at all, is it?
It's a whole different strategy today, running a ball game. Far more complicated than when I was playing ball. You had starting pitchers, and you had the relief pitcher who would come in at the end of the game. Everybody else in the bullpen was, they were mop-up men. They were guys who weren't good enough to be starters and couldn't pitch every day and be relievers.
Here we go. Here the MVP, John Wetland, the relief pitcher who won Game 6, but who's also, we don't know what he's going to do next year. What's this like for him? I'm sure he's savoring the moment, but his future is a little bit hanging out there as well.
Wetland is probably on his cell phone with his agent. The number goes up with every mile of his parade. But I would say that he probably will want to stay with the Yankees. Most players don't like to switch from team to team. If they get a reasonable offer that's comparable to the market price, they want to stay where they are. Their families are in, they've made friends in town. Sometimes their kids are in school. And they don't want to jump around. Besides, he's just now getting to the point where he can get a table in any restaurant in New York City. He wouldn't want to start all over again. And how long do you think it would be to get him a good table in Baltimore, for example, or Atlanta? You know, it'll take him years.
Well, it's always easy in either of those places. Easier anyway, either of those places.
Look at the smiles on their faces. I mean, you can feel their joy. You know they're having a great day here. And again, that relief. It's just like, we won it, we did it, let's celebrate it on this perfect day.
They can't believe this. I mean, this is like, they don't even dream about this when you're a kid. You know, you can't imagine something like this. I mean, it's a big enough dream just to think, well, maybe I'll get to the big leagues one day, or maybe I'll win a pennant, but something like this, the first World Series in 18 years, and then having it happen in New York, the fact that there were so many wonderful human interest stories that got the whole town caught up in it. And they just...
And it is not just winning the World Series. Winning it in New York for a player has to be like no other city, no other place.
Well, except, as I mentioned, back in 1962 when we won the World Series, we beat the Giants in 7 games, and we got a luncheon. The roles were hard.
When you think about how rare this is, it took Joe Torre 4,272 games in his career as a player and a manager to get to the World Series.
You could be a Yankee fan just on the Joe Torre story.
Unbelievable. And of course his brother Frank. You ever see the video of John Wetland?
There's Police Commissioner Howard Safer riding in one of the old classic cars here. I think there's some 2,000 police officers out here today on parade duty. And he's a big baseball fan, too.
Right, and he wisely decided not to discipline the mounted police officer, the lieutenant who allowed Wade Boggs to hop on.
James Higgins.
A command decision, he said. The lieutenant made a command decision. Hop on, Wade.
What a lunch hour. the lunch hour.
Let's drink in the noise here. The atmosphere is electric at one of these things. If you've never experienced it, you are in the midst of watching live coverage on Channel 2, 1996 World Championship Yankees.
It feels about low 50s. The sun, you know, depending on where you are, because of these towering buildings, some people it's much warmer. I mean, you could be in just a t-shirt, but in other places it's very, very chilly. And the breeze has died down also. I don't see the leaves moving at all. It's very, very comfortable. Couldn't be more perfect.
If you wonder about some of the advertisements you see on the trucks, a lot of the $1 million cost of the parade is deferred by private and commercial donations, and of course they get their plugs in.
And there's still plenty of time in this parade. People can still come down and get crushed by the crowd.
Here at City Hall, where everything's going to wrap up, we have the beginning of the ceremony. Robert Merrill again is going to get this crowd going. Let's listen in.
I can't sing this song enough. Let's sing it lustily and loud with me.
Well, we're still looking at the parade here.
Take me out
Robert Merrill.
Take me out with the crowd.
Announced that everybody will be here in about 10 minutes for the hour-long ceremony. Players, dignitaries, and as many fans who can fit in here along the outskirts here. Just in case you were looking to see your soap operas this afternoon, we didn't forget you. They'll be on late tonight, early tomorrow morning, 1:37 a.m. for The Young and the Restless, 2:37 a.m. for The Bold and Beautiful, if you want to set your VCR. And we invite you to see a special Channel 2 News at 6 tonight. We are going to show you the highlights of the Parade of Champions, a special look at this wonderful day in New York City history, all devoted to the New York Yankees World Series champions. Here's one of the double-decker buses stuck in traffic, people traffic.
God bless you all. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountain to the prairie, to the ocean, where you go. Everybody, God bless America. My home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. From the mountain to the prairie, to the ocean, where we go, everybody. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless you, you Yankee fans. The best fans in all the world. The best fans in all the world. Yes, sir. God bless you all. And only in this wonderful country of ours. And so I can't wait for you guys to come.
Battery Park is crowded. Broadway is crowded all the way up here to City Hall Park. Park Row is jammed both sides. Very thick crowds, very well behaved, and the seats are full. Every seat at City Hall is packed. As we said, you can do one or the other. You can go to the parade or the celebration here at City Hall. You cannot do both unless you do it with us here on Channel 2 with our non-stop live coverage.
This is, you know, just parades. These parades here in New York City for athletes, astronauts, award War General, Gulf War soldiers. I mean, New York really throws quite a party in honor and in celebration, but there's a real uniqueness about each one.
And it's not just the achievement. I mean, because these guys won a lot of ball games, and it was a remarkable series, yes, but it's also about the time in history and where we are and our need to honor them, our need to have heroes that makes this parade possible. It's really a joining of the honorees and the public. It's our city getting together, and it's really a great day to be a New Yorker, because this is what we do for our heroes, for the people we have chosen to honor, and it is a unique celebration. Nowhere else have I ever experienced anything like this.
How many parades in the Canyon of Heroes have there been? Does anybody know what that number is?
Yeah, we have it here somewhere, Jim. We'll look it up while we chat.
Yeah, dozens, hundreds, a handful of...
Yes. I mean, you think a couple of years ago for the New York Rangers.
When was the first one? World War II?
No, much before that.
Before that, yeah.
They became popular.
Lindbergh?
With 27, with Charles Lindbergh. And that's when it really became institutionalized as a way of honoring heroes. They were returning soldiers from World War I. Dwight Eisenhower was on it this way. John Kennedy was on it this way.
MacArthur? Douglas MacArthur?
Douglas MacArthur, one of the biggest ever, Douglas MacArthur.
Nelson Mandela, the astronauts, Neil Armstrong, 1969, first landed on the moon.
John Glenn, and then John Glenn before that, he was so honored. It's about what fires our imagination.
Mayor Giuliani has just arrived here at City Hall Plaza and just kind of waving and greeting the crowd. Not officially, it hasn't officially begun here, but he's here, which means the players cannot be far behind. Let's go to Storm Field on Broadway. Storm. Storm.
What is your name?
Storm, can you hear us?
Hello.
Yeah, hi there, Lou.
Hi.
Sorry, Dana.
That's okay.
It's pretty loud here still. The parade is long by us now. I guess what really stuck with me the most in this is all the kids that were here and how much they enjoyed the parade so much. The whole fence line was lined up with kids, and all the folks that were here were really good about letting all the little guys up forward so they could enjoy the parade. And one of them is right here. This is Monisha. Did you have a good time today? What was your favorite part of the whole thing?
That was strawberries. Yankees are good to go.
Oh, what'd you think, Mom?
I think the whole team did a fantastic job, and we're all for the Yankees.
Oh, well, some severe fans here. And I guess that's it. They enjoyed the parade. Lou, Dana.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Storm. As we watch again some John Wetland and some of the other players go by here. We're waiting here at City Hall. You're hearing one of the bands here for the ceremony that we will begin not too long from now. We've been hearing over the PA some announcements about some lost children.
Yeah, there are 6 of them missing in the City Hall area here. A large crush of clouds, and there's some frantic parents about. We're being asked to forward the information that anybody missing children should, of course, go to City Hall. This is the end of the parade here. A sanitation truck.
That's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Pushing a bulldozer. As I was saying, though, missing parents are being asked to go to City Hall. They have a special room. They're collecting these lost kids and bringing them in. They got a half a dozen so far. So hopefully things stay under control here.
You're looking again at one of the confetti gatherers there. Look at that on top of the bus. You can't miss that. It cost $130,000 to clean up after the Rangers parade and 3 hours to clean Broadway with all the crews on the street who were actually part of all of the people watching, because they started immediately after the parade. So we'll see how this one goes. And as we look behind us, Lou, and to the corner of City Hall, we can see the floats turning the corner. And so they are just moments away of getting here. And the MC getting ready for this Rally of Champions that is scheduled to begin at 1 o'clock. It's a quarter of, so they could actually start early. We're moments away.
The quicker you take your seats and the quicker we clear the aisles, the quicker everything will commence. I want to repeat.
Just second. Listen into this.
$3.5 million.
Crowd estimate. Today's rally follows a couple of days of excitement. Yesterday, for instance, Joe Torre and some of the players were on Late Show with David Letterman. It starts out as your, you know, your basic interview.
Let's take a look at it. We got a tape. What are we talking about? Let's take a look at it. Congratulations, Joe. Nice job. Joe Torre, ladies and gentlemen.
It is such a great thrill and pleasure, far beyond any of my wildest expectations. I'm so privileged to be here in front of you because I didn't get a base hit, I didn't throw a strike, I didn't make a catch. All I did many times during the year was wait for someone like Charlie Hayes to stand in foul territory outside of third, make a catch, and shout, "Yankees win! The Yankees win!"
The one thing I've noticed about this crowd as we are going down Broadway is that you see so many different faces from so many different parts of this city. The Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, and the borough of Manhattan. And this is a team that goes across all lines. And today, on this day that we celebrate the World Championship, everyone out there is wearing a pinstripe suit with the interlocking NY on the left chest, a blue cap, and the white interlocking NY. Today, everybody is a Yankee.
Well, let's first of all meet our distinguished guests. To my left, the governor of the state of New York, George Pataki.
And we also welcome the speaker, Peter Vallone.
And Senator Al D'Amato.
And Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan.
And a gentleman who has been a great mayor in this city a few years ago, and who years ago taught Phil Rizzuto in high school, Mayor Abraham Beam.
And now we'd like to introduce the people that helped put this Yankee team together, the Yankee executives here on my right.
First of all, David Sussman.
Steve Swindell.
Joe Malloy.
Hal Steinbrenner.
The principal owner who made it all possible, George Steinbrenner.
And it's my privilege to introduce the greatest living ball player, Joseph Paul DiMaggio. And now we'd like to introduce a man who's in his 30th year with the New York Yankees. You know him. If you come to the stadium, you hear him every single day. He's Eddie Layton, and he'll sing he'll play the Yankees national anthem. Why don't you listen? And as Eddie plays New York, New York, we are going to introduce for you, for the first time publicly, the 1996 World Champion New York Yankees.
Well, first of all, a gentleman who's going to be the unanimous Rookie of the Year, Derek Jeter.
Next up, the guy who guided the ship, and he should be the manager of the year, Joe Torre.
You'll never forget his thrilling no-hitter this year, Doc Gooden.
The third baseman of the Yankees and one of the newest mounted policemen in New York City, Wade Boggs.
He hit the home run that turned the World Series around. Jim Leyritz.
A guy who hit a big home run last year, had some injury problems this year. Let's have a hand for Pat Kelly.
Here's one of the left-handers on the pitching staff, Kenny Rogers.
We all know the phrase by now. We play today, we win today. That's it. This is the guy who coined it, Mariano Duncan.
A late arrival to the Yankees who helped them win and win in the World Series, Luis Sojo.
Another late arrival to the Yankees, got some big pinch hits during the season, Mike Aldretti.
The starting right fielder of the Yankees, Paul O'Neill.
The winner of the deciding game of the 1996 World Series, Jimmy Key.
He drove in 117 runs in his first year as a Yankee, helping them win, Tino Martinez.
How ironic. He came from Colorado and now he's living a Rocky Mountain high, Joe Girardi.
One of the unsung Yankees who helped them win, Andy Fox.
This gentleman, he comes from down under, but he put the Yankees over the top, Graham Lloyd.
A future All-Star, Ruben Rivera.
He was a Yankee world champion as a player, now as a coach, Willie Randolph.
Here is The Rock, Tim Raines.
He caught the last ball of the 1996 World Series, Charlie Hayes.
Well, the Yankees won with pitching, and here's the architect of the pitching coach, Mel Stottlemyre.
The MVP of the World Series, John Wetland.
He turned the series around with his Game 3 win when the Yankees had to win, David Cone.
We don't really need many words for this man. Let's just call him the straw man, Darryl Strawberry.
An ex-20-game winner in the major leagues who gets him ready in the bullpen, Tony Cloninger.
He went down to the minor leagues and he came up a great pitcher. What a contributor, Brian Boehringer.
You know, you could call John Wetland the best bullpenner in the business. And if you don't, you would call this guy, Mariano Rivera.
One of the most important members of the best bullpen in baseball. He came from Seattle, now he's a Yankee, Jeff Nelson.
They call him Big Daddy, and boy, was he ever big for the Yanks. Cecil Fielder.
I think this guy is going to be the 1996 Cy Young Award winner, Andy Pettitte.
This fella came up from Columbus to help the Yankees win some late season games to finish first, Dave Pavlis.
Joe Torre's right-hand man, Don Zimmer.
20 years ago, 1976, He hit a home run in the 9th inning to win the Yanks a pennant. Now their hitting coach, Chris Chambliss.
My partner coined this phrase after a home run. Burn, baby, burn. Bertie Williams.
One of the heroes, one of them, of the win over Texas, the win over Baltimore, and the win over Atlanta, David Weathers.
How many of you remember the catch that Paul O'Neill made on Luis Polonia's drive? Well, this guy moved him over 3 feet right before the pitch. Jose Cardinal.
Here is one of the Yankee pitchers who helped win a game against Baltimore to put the Yankees in first place in April. They never stopped out of first place. Jim Messier.
One of the Yankees' future stars, catcher Jorge Posada.
Another pitcher who came up from the minor leagues where the Yankees brought up so many top players to help them win. He helped them win a lot of games in the middle of the season. Dale Polley.
And finally, this gentleman won a very big game in a doubleheader in Cleveland. Ramiro Mendoza. And ladies and gentlemen, those are your 1996 World Champion New York Yankees.
The crowd is drinking in the moment here. The World Championship team finally on the stage.
This little lady is the Yankees' good luck charm. And although she's tiny, her voice is huge. And whenever she sings, the Yankees win. This is Ms. Christine Scleros, and she is now going to sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Christina Scleros, and the balloons go into the sky, red, white, and blue, with Rudy Giuliani, Joe
Jersey
Morry,
girl,
and
right?
George Pataki. Looking at her as proud fathers, where they each have daughters.
I don't think we're going too far out on a limb to say that this next gentleman is the #1 Yankee fan in the city. He's the host of this party, by the way. Let's have a nice warm welcome for the mayor of New York City, Rudolph Giuliani.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Sit down. Everybody, sit down. The other night, I said that New York City would give the biggest and the grandest parade of all for the 1996 Yankees. It is the biggest, the grandest. 3.5 million people watched and thanked the New York Yankees. The 1996 season for the New York Yankees began in the snows of April, and it ends today in the bright sunlight of New York City. Once upon a time in New York, October meant championships in New York City. And the 1996 Yankees have once again made October in New York City a magical time, a heroic achievement, and have given us a championship season. Thank you, Yankees. But even as we celebrate this magnificent baseball victory, it's the human victories that count the most. The victory of manager Joe Torre.
I've never been involved, obviously, never even close to being involved in anything like this parade today and this sea of humanity we see out here this afternoon. This is absolutely spectacular. And the fans, when you hear about all the horror stories of people who aren't from New York City, talking about the fans and how the city scares them and how bad they are. Well, I thought the behavior out there after Game 6, the championship game, you guys were spectacular. What energy. You could have lit up the whole world today with the energy you put out today out here. Electricity is what it was all about. I knew we were a special ball club when during the course of the year I had people coming up to me in this fair city and saying, you know what, I never thought I'd say this. I'm a New York Mets fan and I'm rooting for you guys to win. But probably even more impressive than that, going around city to city and people saying they were Boston Red Sox fans that were pulling for us to win. I want to say to my players again, and I mentioned that after we beat Baltimore in the championship series, I love every one of them, each and every one of them. They worked hard, and I couldn't be prouder of a group of people. I told you I had a lot of relatives out here. And I was wondering why it took so long for me to get to a World Series. 4,200 plus games, 30 plus years. Well, I guess the good Lord was waiting for me to put on the pinstripes. Thank you very much.